Okay, hello friends. So today we will be saying the topic OOPS, that is Object Oriented Programming System, considering C++ as a Object Oriented Programming System. So I will be going on adding the new videos for C++. So if you like this video, please subscribe my channel. Okay, so initially we will see what is OOPS, why it comes into the picture. OOPS stands for Object Oriented Programming System. Okay, before Object Oriented Programming System, there was programming languages like BASIC, Fortran, Pascal, and COBOL and C, which are considered as a procedural oriented programming language. Then why this OOPS concept comes into the picture? Now for this, we have to consider the example. म्हणजे OOPS कन्सेप्ट हा डेव्हलपच का झाला की ज्याला अदर प्रोग्रामिंग लँग्वेजेस होत्या, ज्याला आपण प्रोसिजरल ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग लँग्वेज म्हणतो. मोस्टली तुम्हाला सी लँग्वेज माहीत असेल, परंतु त्याच्या आधी पण बाकीच्या प्रोग्रामिंग लँग्वेजेस होत्या लाईक बेसिक, फोर्ट्रॉन, पास्कल, कोबोल, अँड देन कम्स विथ सी प्रोग्रामिंग. देन वाय दिस कम्स इनटू द पिक्चर, म्हणजे का पिक्चर, त्याच्यासाठी पण एक एक्झाम्पल कन्सिडर. वी विल कन्सिडर an example. Now consider that I am working as a programmer into some company, and my company is having assignment to make Kolhapur Municipal Corporation as an e-governance. We want to make everything computerized. Okay, and in that, the one part of the program is to calculate age of the employee. Currently मी ज्या कंपनीमध्ये काम करतो त्या कंपनीमध्ये समजा आम्हाला कोल्हापूर म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशनचं टोटली कॉम्प्युटरायझेशन करण्यासाठी टेंडर मिळालेलं आहे, आणि त्यातला एक पार्ट आहे to calculate age of the employee. The age of the employee we calculate as current date minus date of birth. We subtract day from day, we subtract month from month, and we subtract year from year, and then we will try to collect this everything as a string, which we call as the age of the employee. That is current date minus date of birth. सध्या हा प्रोजेक्ट चालू आहे. काही दिवसांनी समजा आमच्याकडे एखादा स्कूलचा प्रोजेक्ट आला, द कंपनी इन विच आय एम वर्किंग, अँड दॅट कंपनी सपोज वन प्रोजेक्ट कम्स फॉर द XYZ स्कूल, अँड देर अगेन आय वॉन्ट टू कॅल्क्युलेट एज ऑफ द स्टुडंट अँड एज ऑफ द स्टाफ ॲज अ पार्ट ऑफ द ॲप्लिकेशन or as a part of the program. I want to calculate age of the student and age of the staff. Concept remains same, that is current date minus date of birth. Okay. To calculate age of the student or to calculate age of the staff, this concept remains as it is, which we call this as a age. After a few days or after a few months, our company also got the software for Kolhapur Jilla Parishad, and there also I want to calculate age of the employee. Concept remains same, current date minus date of birth, which will give the age. So if you consider this different examples in Kolhapur Municipal Corporation and in school and in Kolhapur Jilla Parishad, the concept of calculating age is same, that is current date minus date of birth. Though the application changes, our logic is not going to change, or the method which is used to calculate the age is not going to change. कोल्हापूर म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन असू दे, किंवा एखाद्या स्कूलचं प्रोजेक्ट असू दे, किंवा जिल्हा परिषद असू दे, किंवा आणखी कुठले ते गव्हर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय असू दे, किंवा प्रायव्हेट एम्प्लॉय कुठलीही कंपनी असू दे वगैरे, ज्या ठिकाणी तुम्हाला एज कॅल्क्युलेट करायचं आहे त्या ठिकाणी हा कन्सेप्ट सेम राहतो. करंट डेट मधून आपण डेट ऑफ बर्थ मायनस करतो. ओके, सो हिअर though these projects are different, we have to apply same method or the same programming language. Okay, so if your company is developing the software or the applications, it may be web application, it may be mobile application, it may be Windows application, where certain part of the program you want to use as it is. Now in normal programming language, if certain part of the program, if you want to repeat again and again continuously, in that case we go with looping. While writing the program, if you know how many times you want to execute, in that case we go with for loop. While writing program, if you don't know how many times you want to repeat, in that case we go with conditional looping. It may be while or it may be do while. Some programming language supports both while and do while, but languages like Python, they support only while loop. Okay. So while writing program, if you know how many times you want to repeat the program, in that case we go with for loop. And while writing program, if we don't know how many times we want to repeat, in that case we go with conditional looping, that is while or do while. But that part must be executed continuously. But if certain part of the program, if we want to repeat again and again at different places in our program, in that case we go with function. Okay, we can pass value, we can return value, we can call function within function, or that might you have learned in C programming or any other programming languages. That concept remains same everywhere. No doubt, arguments and all this is different in Python, but generally in all languages they remain the same. But if certain part of the program, if you want to use as it is into different projects, this project, this project, this project, in such case, this oops concept comes into the picture, or this helps us. The company in which you are working, in that company, if certain part of the logic, if you want to use again and again in different projects, in such case, instead of writing that project writing that same program to different projects, we go with oops concept. Or you take this example. In school, this 2 times, this method remains the same. Okay, this method remains the same. So it may possible that in single project, the same program you want to use again and again at different places, in different forms or different activities and all like that. So if certain part of the program, if you want to use again and again in different projects, in that case, this object-oriented programming concept comes into the picture. Okay, that we call as a class. Object-oriented programming concept is nothing but creating the class and using those classes. This is the basic why this oops concept comes into the picture. Object-oriented programming system. If certain part of the program, if you want to use again and again in different projects, in such case, instead of writing that program again and again in different project, we go with oops concept. We write the program only once and then we are going to use it again and again. Or in short, you can write it as creating reusable programs. Or you can say oops gives you facility to write program once and use it again and again. So there are different, you can say, definitions of oops concept. I think you refer from your reference book which is given in your syllabus. But generally, for me, oops is nothing but the object-oriented programming concepts where we write program only once and we are using it again and again. Or in short, we are creating reusable programs. We will be writing only once and then we are using it again and again.
काय रेकॉर्डिंग सुरू
तेच बघा ना तो हा रेकॉर्डिंग सुरू आहे.
ठीक आहे, मधनं कट करून आपण परत
मी मला आठवलं म्हटलं सुरू केलं का नाही बघायला
ओके बेस्ट.
आता काहीच नाही
काय
इकडे
now here, okay, welcome back. So here in previous lecture or in previous video, we have learned what is oops, why it comes into the picture. So here now we are using C++ to learn oops programming concept. Now generally 90% oops programming concept remains same. You use it in Java or use it in C++ or use it in Python or use it in C#. 90% concept remains same. It might possible that syntax will change. Okay, but the basic concept remains the same. That is function overloading, constructor, destructor, and those concept inheritance. Okay, those concepts remain same everywhere. Syntax might change, but here we will be learning C++ as a object-oriented programming system. Your C++ starts with hash include iostream.h. The object-oriented programming system means in main program, instead of declaring variables, we declare objects. We declare the objects. This object we create from a class. Like in programming languages, procedural-oriented programming languages, we declare the variable from a data type. If we consider C, we declare a variable like this. A is our variable of type integer. So here in object-oriented programming system, this object we create from a class. So object we are creating from a class. Now this class may be ready-made classes, or it may be a programmer defined class, that we can define our own class as per our requirement, which we are going to learn in this object-oriented programming system. We can create our own class with the help of reserved class. We start our class with reserved class. Then you can give any name to the class, but reserved words are not allowed. It should start with character, and blank space within the class name is not allowed. You can give any name, but generally as a programming standard, first name or first alphabet of every class we give it as a capital. It doesn't make any difference if you give small, it works, no problem. But as a standard programming concept, this first letter must be a capital letter. Then we start with open curly bracket, close curly bracket, and semicolon. Class starts with reserved class. You take any programming language. You take Python, you take Java, you take C#, you take C++. Everywhere it starts with class. And then we can give name of the class. This bracket, close bracket, and semicolon. Now this differs. This differs over the programming language. If you consider Java and C#, we have to give open bracket and close bracket. In Python, we have to give indenting. And in C++, we start with the class with the help of open curly bracket, and it ends with close curly bracket and semicolon. Semicolon indicates end of the class. Now in this class, we declare variables, and to operate on these variables, we can write functions. Okay. Now these variables and functions we have declared within a class, so now they become as a member variables and member functions. We call them as the member variables and member functions in C++. In Java or in C# or in Python, we call these as the methods, and this is called as the elements. Member variables are called as the elements of your class. But in C++, the variables which we declare within a class and the functions we write within a class, those are called as the member variables and member function. Any variable can be accessed directly into the any member function. Simple concept. This class we have to create. To learn the object-oriented programming concepts, what are the concepts, how to write the class, how to give functionalities within your class. Here, right now in C++, we are writing our own class and we are testing it. Here itself we are testing it. But in real life, class writers are different and users are different. After completion of your graduation, it may be other courses and all, you are going to join as a junior engineer in a company. You take any company, it may be Infosys, it may be Wipro, it may be any other Microsoft and all. So you are going to join as a junior engineer. Okay. So before going to join as a junior engineer, each and multinational companies gives you the training for 6 months or for 3 months and all. And there they test your logic and all, and which platform you are perfect, and depending upon that they gives you the assignment. And there, as a junior engineer, your senior programmer or your team leader gives you the task. This task you have to perform, and to perform this task or to complete this task, use this class, study this class, go through this class and use this class and complete your task. That means classes are ready-made present in a company. You are not going to write as a class. As a junior programmer, you are allowed to only use the class. After the experience of 3 to 4 years, you can go for the class writer. So in real life programming, class writers are different, these writers are different, and main users are different. So these are the junior programmers, and this is, you can say, the senior programmer. But right now, to learn what is object-oriented programming system, how it works, how to write the class, how to access the class, we are doing each and every part. We are writing a class as a senior programmer, and we are using this, we are writing the main program to use the class as a junior programmer. So here, to learn the object-oriented programming system, we are going to perform both the tasks directly. So now we will take one example. Consider hash maths operation. Class maths. I want to perform simple operation. I want to write a class to read two numbers, calculate sum and average, and display sum and average. Simple class for mathematical operation. So for the two numbers, I am using two variables, n1 and n2. To get the sum, I am using variable sum, and for average, I am declaring AVG as an average. Okay. So this indicates n1, n2 and sum. We have declared three member variables of type integer and average as a member variable of type float. Now I want to read two numbers, n1 and n2. I want to calculate sum and average, and I want to display sum and average. To read the data from a keyboard, we take help of a cin statement. Everything is small, cin, that is character input. Okay, different languages are having different techniques to read the data. In Fortran language, we use read for basic language, and in Python language, we use input. In Pascal, we use read statement again, and in C programming, we use scanf statement. In Java, we can create object of a scanner class, and from the scanner class, we use scanner object dot next int or next string or next char and all, next float, next double and all. So here in C++, we use statement cin to read the values. We want to read two values for n1 and n2. So we use greater than n1, greater than n2. So this indicates you want to read two values. First value is for n1 and second value is for n2. Then calculate sum. That is sum is equal to n1 plus n2. Then we calculate average, sum divided by 2.0. Before using any input statement, we take the help of output statement just to indicate what we are expecting. So here we can give here input to numbers. Here I am considering that you have the knowledge of C programming. This is important because directly learning C++ is not possible, or using this video you cannot learn C++ directly. You must have knowledge of C programming. Okay, and the most important part is function. From that you need the function. And if you want to learn pure C programming, you go through my channels. There you can get all videos of C programming. Okay, so after calculating the sum and average, we want to display the result. To display result, we use cout statement. Cout, just like a printf statement in C programming. okay, or write statement or print statement in basic programming or Python programming, we use cout statement to display the information. What we want to display? We want to display sum. So we can display this as a, or we can give here, sorry, we can give /n addition equal to sum average is equal to AVG. So this indicates /n, go to the next line, addition equal to, you print this as it is, then you print value of sum, then you print average is equal to, and then you print value of AVG. Class ends here. Okay. Now we will start with main program. Time being, keep this as it is. Main program. Our class name is maths. And object is M. So this indicates create object M from class maths. So when this statement is executed, right now there is a problem in this class, but keep this as it is. Okay. So here your compiler creates object M. It allocates memory M to the object, and in this object it creates n1, n2, sum and average as a member variables. It creates this n1, n2, sum and average as a member variables. Now if you focus on a class, we can declare variables which we call the member variables, but directly writing any statement into this is not possible. Directly writing programming statements into class is not allowed. It must be part of some member function. It must be part of some member function. So here now I am adding this into some member function, which I will call this as a void, because I am not returning any value, and then all is nothing but the name of the member function. So in all member function, we are reading values of n1 and n2, we are calculating sum and average, and then we are displaying sum and average. Now this is perfect, no problem. This is now perfect, no problem. So we have declared one class called as the maths. In this maths class, we have declared n1, n2, sum and average as a member variables, and we have written one function called as the all. So when this function is executed, you can say a member function. When this member function is executed, you can input two values. It will calculate sum and average, and it will display sum and average. Now this, I want to read value for n1 and n2. I want to calculate sum and average, and then I want to display sum and average. So in main program, if you want to execute any function, then we give name of the function. We give name of the function, that is all. So when this statement is executed, this indicates go to execute the function all. When this statement is executed by the compiler, right now it is generating error. So suppose this statement is executed, it indicates go to execute function all. But here all is not a function. Remember here, my friend, this is a member function. This is not a function, this is a member function. So this statement is not matching with this, because this statement is used to call a function. But now this is not a function, this is a member function. So to call any member function, we have to follow certain programming rules, that is object oriented programming rules. Okay, that we have to follow. Okay, now what is the first rule? If you want to call any member function outside of the class, now this is outside of the class, this is not within a class, it is outside of the class. If you want to call any member function outside of the class, then you keep the scope as a protected or friend or public. Okay, protected and friend we will discuss afterwards. Right now, only remember, whenever we want to call any member function outside of the class, its scope must be public. We can give protected, we can give friend. But now those terminologies are different, their uses are different, or when to use that is different. So that part we will be discussing afterwards. Right now, as for the simplicity, the member function which you want to call outside of the class, its scope must be public, and that we mentioned with a public colon, 2 colons. Now, our maths class is having n1, n2 sum as an average as a member variables, and we have one member function all whose scope is public. Okay, we have 4 scope. In C++, we have 4 scope: public, private, protected, and friend. Public, private, protected, and friend. When we don't mention any scope, it is considered as a private. So here we have not mentioned any scope, so it is considered as a private. Now why it is not declared here, when to declare it, that we will discuss in future videos, in future lectures and all. But right now, what we need is this sufficient. Now here, for a class, this is now perfect. Now we will go to the main program. Now this all is nothing but a member function. You want to consider this all as a member function. So to call any member function having scope as a public, you have to take the help of the object. If you want to call any member function whose scope is public, then you have to take help of the object of that class. Now class is maths, M is the object of the class maths, so we can mention here M dot all. So this indicates now go to execute all member function with respect to M. Now when this statement says, now if you execute this program, your compiler always starts with main. It is searches for a main. Then it creates object M. So when create objects M, it gives member variables n1, n2, sum and average. Then M dot all, it goes to execute all member function. It comes here, input any 2 numbers. It gives you input any 2 numbers. Scene, it gives you blinking cursor. Just like a scanf statement. You have to input 2 values. If you input 10 and if you input 20, this 10 value is given to n1, 20 value is given to n2. Now this n1 and n2, it considers from M directly. So here it will consider 10, here it will consider 20. Then sum equal to n1 plus n2. This sum n1, n2, it all considers from M because we are calling all with respect to M. So it will calculate sum as 30. Then average is equal to sum divided by 2.0. So average and sum, both it considers from M because we are calling all with respect to M. So it will calculate 15.0. Then it will give you addition equal to 30 and average is equal to 15.0. End of the member function, it comes back to the calling program and the end of the main program. So this is a simple class with only one member function.